So now, when Israel returned to the capital city, Jerusalem, the nations wouldn't recognize it. If you know your history, no nation recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. But if you count 50 years, check this out. This is, man, if this don't get you going, man, you all need to get some more Jesus. Amen. Because you just can't plan this. You just can't plan these things. That's why if you don't know your history, that's why I'm sharing this, so you can see why these dates just doesn't happen. Now, from 1967, if you count 50 years, who's quick at math? Does anyone know what year that brings us to now? 2000 and what? 2017. We got some math majors. Amen. Now, let's go back in history. Some of you might not have been alive in 2017, but everyone I'm looking at right now has been alive. Amen. Some of you have been alive way before that. Amen. 50 years from 1967, from the 6-day war, that they stepped now back into the capital of Jerusalem. Now, they are now existing in Jerusalem. They've wept, they're praying at the wall, but nobody recognizes them. You go to the United Nations, no nation in the United Nations recognized the capital of Israel as Jerusalem. Nobody, not even the United States. Even though president after president, Reagan and Clinton and Bush and Obama, all of them, they all said, we are going to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, but none of them did it. They ran on that. They told the Jewish people they were going to do it, but none of them did it. But guess what? On June 5th, 2017, the reason why I'm giving you the exact date, because it's important. June 5th, 2017, the exact date in 1967, June 5th, 1967, they started the 6-day war. June 5th, 1967 was the start of the 6-day war for Israel to get back into Jerusalem. Now on June 5th, 50 years later, on the Jubilee, to the exact date, everyone say exact date. See, God doesn't just fool around and say, oh, let me just get some dates going, and let me just do this on this day. And even though they didn't know, and I'm sure at that time when it was President Trump, he didn't know exactly all of this, but the Spirit of the Lord was leading and guiding him to do this on this exact date. What does he do? President Trump comes out on June 5th, 2017, and he says, on this day, the United States recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. 50 years on the exact day of Jubilee, that when Israel went to war to get their capital back, the President of the United States on that same day, 50 years later to the exact date, comes out and says this. Now, why do you think all the demons manifested? Because all the little snowflakes you would see on CNN, if you guys remember all that, oh, how could he do that? Oh. No other nation never had their national capital recognized but the nation of Israel. Every nation says, like us, United States, we say Washington, D.C. is our capital. Everybody recognizes it around the world as our capital. Canada, Mexico, whoever, they said this is our nation's capital, they recognize it. But for 50 years, from that point of 1967, when they took control again of Jerusalem, no nation, not even the United States, said Jerusalem was the capital. We actually had our embassy in Israel in what city? Who remembers? Tel Aviv. Remember? That's where everybody they just picked that city. Okay, we're saying Tel Aviv is your national capital. What? How are you going to tell us as a nation what our capital is? It's like I go to your home and say, hey, I don't like the way you did your refrigerator. Move this around. You'd be like, hey, you may be pastor in the church, but you ain't pastor my fridge. You can get your fridge rearranging stuff out of here. And that's just the fridge. Now they're saying you can't recognize your own capital. And all these presidents said they were going to recognize Israel's capital as Jerusalem, but none of them did. But in the divine providence of God. Now, I'm not here to say, President Trump is a Christian or whatever, but what I'm here to tell you is he heard from the Spirit